Yo, it's one of the guys, this Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today going over the Minnesota Timberwolves Summer League roster. I really love this Summer League roster for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's one of my favorite rosters that you're going to see in the Summer League. I think they've got a chance to have a really good Summer League. We'll see what happens. They've got a couple players that are, NBA like NBA players that have been in the league for a minute and a little more experience that are trying to fight for a roster spot. And two guys I'll go over that I look at like that is, two guys that are on this roster that I think are in that position is Jamal Cain is one guy. And then the other is Leonard Miller. So Jamal Cain has 3 years of NBA experience, played 37 games this year for the New Orleans Pelicans, averaged 5 points per game, 2 rebounds per game, and 14 minutes per game. Okay 3-point shooter, really solid, really solid player, good size as a small forward, 6'7". So, and then he's one of them. But then you've also got Leonard Miller as another on the list as well. Leonard Miller has some experience being, he was a second-round pick for the San Antonio Spurs in the 2023 NBA draft, 33rd overall. And so he's a guy that's going into third year of NBA experience. So you've got guys like Leonard Miller and Jamal Cain, a little more experienced than some of the guys that are rookies or undrafted rookies. But then you go into some more talented players that I'll look at. Rob Dillingham is on this roster, their big first-round pick from last year. And then Terrence Shannon, a guy who played really well in the playoffs and I think is a really, really talented player that I think is going to really – next year, with them losing to Nikhil Alexander-Walker, I think Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to take on a bigger role. He looked good in the playoffs, 6'6" guard. So I think it'll be fun to watch him and Dillingham play the first couple games of the Summer League. But then another guy I thought played well at times last year for Minnesota that played well for their regular season roster that is a part of this Summer League roster is Jalen Clark as well. There was a minute where he came in as a two-way contract guy and played so well defensively and shooting the ball that they gave him a standard deal pretty quick. And even though he was a rookie, I really thought he was a guy that played really well. And even in that Western Conference Finals, they even tried bringing him in and putting him in the game because in the regular season, he guarded Shai Gilgeous-Alexander really well. I think that was a big reason why that standard contract went to Jalen Clark when it did. He guarded SGA really well, and that's why they surprisingly tried to give Jalen Clark minutes. So I look at guys that have experience in the NBA. You've got experienced players like Jamal Cain and Leonard Miller, Dillingham, Jalen Clark, and Terrence Shannon on this roster. But then you can go into their 17th overall pick that is also in this roster, Juan Berenger, center, 7-foot center from France, has a lot of potential. So this is a really solid Summer League roster. You've also got Amari Bailey, who was a second-round pick a couple years ago. And, there's some other solid players on this roster. You can just go over some of the smaller names, C.J. Fulton, Jesse Edwards, Tristan Newton is okay. Des Watson. So, but I think you've got a couple of really talented players who can break out, like Terrence Shannon Jr. and Rob Dillingham. I think the bad thing for Minnesota, you look at it, and it's like this team's not going to be a team that, this is not going to be a team that goes out there and is in the Summer League championship. And the reason why I would say that is because guys like Terrence Shannon Jr. and Rob Dillingham and Jalen Clark, who are going to go out there and play really well in the Summer League for Minnesota, are going to be guys that graduate. Sometimes you see sophomores go out there, talented sophomores go out there in the Summer League and start out in the Summer League. You usually see them play 2 or 3 of the 4 games, and then that's it. And then there's no more after that. And so I would imagine Dillingham and Terrence Shannon, they're two talented rookies, don't play more than 2 games. And so I would bet they probably win both games that those two guys play in because I think they're too talented for the Summer League. But so I think Minnesota is definitely a team that you could see in the Summer League playoffs, and that's only four teams get that honor. But they do start play on July 10th, I think it'll be a very fun matchup to watch on July 10th because you've got Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr. against the Pelicans, who, when they've got Misi very well might be playing. They've got, they just drafted Fears and from Oklahoma and Derek Queen. That's a fun matchup you'll see in July 10th. That's a ESPN game. I'm really excited for that game on July 10th. But let me know your thoughts on this roster for the Minnesota Timberwolves in the comment section, and peace out.